The one thing I hate about owning a home is that the idea that it will be a fixed payment forever. Everyone says owning a home gives you stability. And in a certain aspect, that is true. But really, owning a home gives you much less stability than you would think. There's one part about home ownership that drives me crazy. And not many people talk about it. At least when you're in the process of buying a home, no one talks about it until it's already too late. When most people think fixed mortgage, they assume their payment's locked in for the same amount every month for the next 30 years. And that is true for your interest rate. Your interest rate, unless you have a variable loan, which most people are just getting a 30-year fixed rate, that means that your interest rate is fixed over the course of the entire loan. The only way to change that is to refinance outside of that loan to a new loan. There's 4 components of a mortgage. Number one is your principal. Number 2 is your interest. Number 3 is your home insurance. Number 4 is your taxes, property taxes. Now, if you own a home outright, then you wouldn't have principal and interest. You just have home insurance if you so choose and property taxes. There's no getting rid of that unless you move to a state that doesn't have property taxes. Is there states that don't have property taxes? Or is it just state tax? I'm not sure. So out of those 4 components, 2 of those things can and oftentimes will change. And that's home insurance every year and your annual property taxes. So around the first of the year, when tax stuff happens, at least in my state and at least in my experience, your lender will do something called an escrow analysis. And what that is basically estimating how much it thinks your taxes and insurance will be due every year, because you actually pay taxes and insurance in arrears, which means that the escrow account basically saves your taxes and insurance for you. So that's a part of your payment and they just put it in an account. But there are times where you could have a shortage, meaning the amount that they estimated and the amount that you've been paying all year is actually less than how much it actually costs for your taxes and your insurance that year. When that happens, that shortage, basically, you have to either pay that shortage in a lump sum or you spread it over the course of your payments now. So now instead of your payment being $1,300 a month, now it's $1,350 a month because of the shortage there. So that's one way your mortgage can go up. And again, this can happen every year. And it actually has happened to us every year for the last 5 years. One or both of those things have gone up and that has changed our mortgages. Now for me, I own 1 personal residence and then the rest of my properties are rental properties. So that means that my cash flow every year changes. So I guess what bothers me the most is the safety net that people think they have when they buy a house. It's not really a safety net. It's kind of an illusion. You can do everything right, pay on time, budget responsibly, but there's still nothing you can do about those increases. What I try to do, just because I really hate when my mortgage goes up, I try to just pay the lump sum of the shortage and just go from there. That way, my mortgage stays the same as what it's always been, and I just have to come up with that extra money out of pocket to keep my mortgage the same. I still definitely believe in owning your own home, especially if owning a home per month is roughly cheaper than renting. Right now, we live in weird times. Typically, owning a home has always been cheaper than renting, but in the last couple of years, with the market being so up and down, it's actually been cheaper to rent than it is to buy. So if you're in that situation, you haven't bought yet, I'd recommend holding off until you notice that the interest rates have come down enough and your payment per month starting out is going to be a good chunk cheaper than it costs you to rent in your area. If it's cheaper to rent than it is to buy, then I recommend continuing to rent. Now, if you're buying rental property, that's a whole nother ballgame. I believe it's always a good time to buy rental property as long as you can afford it. And afford it means that you can cover the mortgage in case you have a vacancy, meaning you have an emergency fund set aside for months of vacancy. So short story is, buying a house is not set it and forget it. It is not a fixed monthly payment. It can still be variable. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you guys tomorrow.